Yes, we'll all get to roll out and transform come September 20th when Transformers 1 introduces us to the younger versions of the robots in disguise. And here to tell us all about Transformers 1, Chris Hemsworth, Tyree Henry, and Keegan-Michael Key! Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. You discovered yourselves, too, with the action figures. I'm glad y'all just picked them up and just started running around.
Not only did we discover ourselves with the action figures, we discovered ourselves in this movie.
We did.
Yeah?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Well, I just had a discovery, too. Apparently, there's a new trailer that just dropped, a brand new trailer. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet. Have y'all?
We have seen it.
Yeah,
Yes? We're about to see it again.
Seen you see it.
Okay, well, then let's watch it. Let's roll the clip.
Let's take a look. I want to see it again.
For thousands of years, we have been at war. But before, we were enemies. We were like brothers.
You ready?
Always ready. Let's punch in. Hey, watch where you're going.
What did you say?
It's not like he can transform. Hey, Darkwing.
Don't.
My finger can transform. Guess which one?
Allow me.
I appreciate you having my back.
No matter what.
What is that?
Sending location coordinates.
We're under attack!
It's an SOS message from the surface.
Fantastic.
It's time to show them we are more than meets the eye.
A cave with teeth. Nothing scary about that. Holy Primus.
I see strength in you. Take these and access your full potential.
We can transform now!
How do we use these things?
Come on!
How you choose to use this power is up to you. We roll out.
What?
Louder.
Transform and roll out!
I want to help build a better world.
Like you said, we can be so much more.
Maybe it's just me, but he's different.
Yeah, no, I picked up on that.
I picked up on that too.
What happened to my best friend?
Burn it down! All of it!
We have to stop him.
We could have built the future together.
I don't think so.
Decepticons! Rise up! Incoming!
Come on!
Awesome!
That's what I'm talking about.
Now is the time for us to stand up. Together. As one.
Look, that's Starscream, and you're Shockwave and Soundwave.
Enough.
Gosh, raise your hand if Wave is in your name. There's a lot of waves.
So this Cybertron, like this takes place in the earlier days, so it's not as dystopian as, you know, we're used to seeing it. So I'm kind of curious, like, how did you all, what was the process like finding these younger versions of these characters, you know, especially with you, Brian? I feel like was yours a bit of a challenge? Because, like, you're having to kind of, like, find a journey, because, like, Megatron is known to be evil, you know? And so
you know, that's a big reason why I jumped at the bit to do this, because you know, it's really easy to go on the lore of the villains that we grew up with. You know, like they usually present the villains to you and they're like, oh yeah, this is who you're against, this is what it is. But you know, to be able to start at the very beginning with Megatron, I was like, well, you know, you get to really see the youthfulness of him. You get to see him be light, the levity. You get to see him actually have a deep friendship and connection with someone, rather than being the boss ordering people around. And like, we all know the you know, iconic moment of I am Megatron, but to see how he got there was really fun to do. Like, I always want to figure out the heart, you know, of the characters that I play. Like, they don't just show up the way that they are. Something made them that way. But I really enjoyed that there was comedy. I really enjoyed that there was fear. I enjoyed that there was this wonder to them, and it was just fun to play. So Josh, our director, really gave us space to figure that out. You know, I also really love this, honestly, because I never saw characters that reflected me when I was a kid. Like, there was never anything that made me feel like I could be a part of something like that. So like, to be able to like be this adult now stepping into the shoes of Megatron. It's like a dream come true, man.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like these characters are so iconic. Like it's I believe we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Transformers, which is crazy. So like I'm pretty sure we've all have touched at some point Transformers. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I mean, you're touching them right now, but
Can't you tell?
Invasive.
That's okay, Chris. I did that.
I meant to.
you lost the touch.
I meant to do that.
You lost the power, man.
I got carpal tunnel in my
Chris,
finger.
Chris, I gotta ask you though this. Like when you think of Optimus Prime, I feel like that name is so synonymous with Peter Cullen.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I have to ask you about like your journey finding the voice of Optimus Prime, and did you feel any sort of like any pressure, I guess, going into this role?
Yeah, and when I was first asked to do it, that was my reaction, was just get Peter Cullen to do it, you know. And as you were saying, the reason I think what drew all of us to this was it was about recreating these characters, doing something people hadn't seen before. So this is the youthful, brash, cocky, young version of Optimus Prime, or Orion Pax, as he's known prior to becoming Optimus. And there were moments toward the end of the film when he begins to become the character we've known and loved, where we lean a little bit more toward the cadence and the rhythm and the vocal quality of what had come before. But for the most part, it was about having a lot more range and flexibility to have, or to give the character a sense of humor, you know, and a spontaneity and a youthfulness, and that was really fun. But yeah, to come in and sort of mimic Peter Cullen, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That's I wouldn't dare.
No, I mean, honestly, from what we've seen, like you definitely
chose to mimic him, but Brian's based his whole character
The
on
whole
Peter.
thing. Absolutely. Homage.
No, Keegan, I got to ask you, like coming into this role as Bumblebee, do you feel like you've had a lot more freedom as far as like finding the voice of your character, or?
Yeah, it's because it really feels like I'm starting at scratch. I'm starting at baseline because we had the ability for him to be anything we wanted him to be, to sound any way we wanted him to sound, and much like Brian, you know, you want to find the heart of the character. What does the character want? All of these things that we basically do when we're constructing a being to portray. So I felt like Josh and I had a very collaborative relationship, and this is we've worked together before, and we had a wonderful time. We were doing Toy Story 4, and he allows you to improvise, he allows you to ad-lib, he allows you to make adjustments, and it was a very liberating experience. Yeah. But so it was nice that, you know, he also gets to have a voice. Finally, you know, when we think about all the movies later on, you know, where he doesn't have a voice, so.
Yeah. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you know, the Transformers has been around for 40 years. Like, I want to know what each of your personal relationship is with the property, with the franchise. Like what was your entry point, Chris?
I think playing with the action figures, the toys, as a kid, and recreating what I'd seen in the cartoons, or just kind of being caught up in the fantasy of it, you know, in the backyard with my brothers, and you know, my dog's kind of chewing them apart as well. And
do you remember your first one?
Emotionally distraught. Hey?
You remember your first Transformer action figure?
I'm pretty sure I had little Optimus
Of course,
Prime.
Baseline. Yeah, we all have.
That's the starting out point, you know. But I love Bumblebee. He was.
Isn't that nice?
And Megatron.
Nice.
As much as Megatron.
Why? We discussed this before we came in here that you were going to say this.
Our characters and us, we're going to therapy. We're going to fix this.
What about you, Brian?
You know what? I remember the movie, the animated movie, that I'm still traumatized by to this day, to watch the death of Optimus Prime. Like, you know, was that 1986?
86.
I mean, man, like as a kid, you just didn't know it was coming, and I mean, the discussions you had in school after, the tears, the therapy that I'm still dealing with today. It was like really, but like to watch your favorite cartoon become a movie, you know, that was such a big deal, to watch Transformers become a movie. And that was my first entry point to my emotions, actually. Because I didn't think I would that I would leave feeling that way for a cartoon that was so action-packed. And so, you know, but the Transformers movie really impacted me.
And it's funny because it's like it's full circle now, because you're kind of doing that with this upcoming movie.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that. I love that part with animation where you can actually give the characters gravitas. They're not just two-dimensional. They actually like have lives and families and friendships, and you get to play that. Like, I think that's really cool. Like when animation crosses that line and actually like blends with reality. It's really cool.
Yeah. How about you, Keegan? What was your entry point?
My entry point was the original show from '84. So I'd come home from school, like hundreds of thousands of other kids, maybe more, you know, and put down your book bag and 3:30, 4 p.m. around there, and watch the show. And so that for me was my entry point. Was, I think, would anybody 40 years ago would be anybody else's entry point. And desperately wanted the action figures. And I don't think I had a friend who had Shockwave, and so I played with that one. But I did not actually have one of the figures that earlier, maybe a little bit later. But the show, I watched it religiously. It was really important to me. It was one of my favorite, like one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, for me, just throwing it out there, it was Beast Wars. But then I went back and watched the original '80s series, and just I've been a fan ever since. Now, my next question, I got to ask you all this. What do you think will surprise fans the most about Transformers 1?
The most.
I think the humor and the
levity.
And the fun.
It's definitely the levity. There's something very kind of, there's lots of parts of this film that are very light and buoyant, and I think people are going to enjoy that in a way that they don't understand. But then also, the pathos is there. It's really, it is an emotional ride. It really is.
Yeah. I think if you're seeking or expecting heartbreak, having humor around it and a sense of adventure and fun is misleading in a good way. And there's a spontaneity and a surprise when the heartbreak happens. And I think this film does a great job of that. You're on the ride, you're on the adventure, the sort of, you know, pilgrimage, they're off and having fun, and all of a sudden it's like ripping your heart out. And that really appealed to me the first time I read it, and then I think it really works when I saw the film too.
And also no humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's Cybertron, we don't need all of them,
literally on their planet with them, all they knew, like, just on Cybertron.
Just existing.
Just existing.
Just bots existing,
Just who they are. And it's really cool to watch them find themselves, too, to see that this is where they started, that they had aspirations, that they had dreams, that they had friendships. It's like, it's really cool to watch that.
Yeah.
Best friends before they were mortal enemies.
Yeah. So you mentioned that. Like, there's no humans here. It's Cybertron. So it's filled with, you know, obviously, you know, Autobots and well, they're not Decepticons. Autobots or Decepticons yet. Cybertronians. That's it.
Cybertronians. That's right.
Do you have a favorite Cybertronian/Transformer? Doesn't have to be the one you're playing, of course. It could be anyone.
Don't look at me.
Growing up.
Come on, Chris.
A favorite what?
Your favorite Transformer growing up?
Oh, well, I mean, besides this one.
Baseline, yes.
Stay on brand.
Bumblebee, I said that.
He said Bumblebee.
That's right, we did have a bromance.
A little bromance. Yeah. We've been the last few days.
Second to Megatron.
To Megatron. Get your arm.
Off my side of the couch.
Mine, I discovered, I remember there was one called Ratchet. And people don't remember. And I literally couldn't believe that, because it was like, so is that connected to the term that we know and the people that we know? Because I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. He was very curmudgeonly. He was about that life. You know what I mean? But also very skilled. And I go, it's like Ratchet. If we can bring Ratchet back, that would be great. Yeah.
Well, Ratchet ain't going nowhere, though.
Clearly,
I'm just saying.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, these guys live billions of years.
Ratchetness, like, it's kind of, it keeps you alive in a way. So, Ratchet was a cool one.
Soundwave. Soundwave was my favorite. Because I liked him because he had accessory bots. Because the original one, and also the fact that first of all, the fact is he also didn't turn into a vehicle. He turned into an object of recreation. So the fact that he turned into a boombox was, I thought, amazing. And the fact that I think it was he had like there was a dog and a pterodactyl. Remember his like cassette chute would open and like this dog would come out. And I love that he had like little small Transformers inside of him.
Within him, yeah.
And also the other thing I liked about him that differentiated him from every single other Transformer is that he had that robot call box voice that had the fuzz to it that no other Transformer had. And I just, I was intrigued by him.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall with Transformers and Hasbro when they come up with
the ideas.
Like Transformers is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And the names, they should really think about including the three of us in that, because we've got tons of ideas.
In a brainstorm,
a brainstorm session would be nice.
It'd be nice. I'd love to see that.
With Chris, Brian, Keegan, I want to thank you all so much for joining us and telling us a little bit more about Transformers 1. Please give it up for them, everybody. Please, come on. Transformers 1 is out in theaters on September 20th, and you can stick around for even more Comic-Con here on IGN. roll out. Thank you all so much. Yeah.
It's Star Trek popping up behind you.
Yeah. Thank you, Keegan. Yeah.